Hello, and
Hello.
welcome to the Dad and Sons Podcast, your best podcast for NFT news. Are you guys ready?
No. God, no.
Not final time.
That's all I've been sucked into. No, I played 2 games. Let's finish 2 games. Let me
Finish 2 games. Wow.
Finished 2 games.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Yeah. They're very small games. Because literally that's the only thing that can hold my attention these days. Like indie games is like the only thing. I've said this so many times. Like I tried Doom again. It's on Game Pass. Dude, I could never get past that room where you actually start like going around and actually learning things, and you get the 2 upgrades for the shotgun. I just can't get through that room. It just gets so boring for me after that. I don't know. I know some people who love Doom are just cringing right now, but there's something about Doom Eternal that just doesn't work with me.
Well, for me, it's like, if a game is designed to last only a few hours, then everything's going to be so much more tightly compressed. And games that are long feel longer than they do when I was younger. Like those extra long tutorials are something that is absolutely stings worse than when you were a kid, and it felt like you had your whole future ahead of you to play all the games you wanted.
Yeah. Now it's just like, wait a minute. I only allocated like about 3 or 4 hours today to do this, and I'm still learning mechanics 4 hours in. I don't think I'm gonna forget this as soon as I go to sleep, or as soon as I switch to something else in my life, because my life is not just video games and sleep. So you know what I mean? Like, it's just like
As a kid, you could leave an RPG and come back to it, and you might have some trouble readjusting. As an adult, though, I feel like if you leave a really long RPG for a week, you're just...
Oh, I'm gone.
You're signing a deal with the devil. You have to replay through the whole 80-hour thing to remember what happened. And I feel like it's because your brain is not as plastic as it used to be. Like, you actually want to sleep a full 8 to maybe even 10 hours. Waking up takes so much longer than it used to. And getting back from work takes so much longer than it used. Like, getting in the mindset, you know?
My life has been better since I've been following a schedule. I've been going to sleep like an old man this past week, man. Like dude, I've been stressing myself out. I'm like so wired for like 10 hours, and then I just knock out at like 9.
9.
So I can get up early.
God, I don't even get home from work at 9.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be me next month. I want to make sure I get enough sleep because next month I'm gonna be you. I don't want to do 15-hour shifts while just having a shitty schedule.
It's so weird, though. Like, I don't know what it's like in general for other people, but like when I'm so wired, when it's like a time like it is right now during work where, you know, deadlines have to be hit and there's so many things to think about, and you're both full of anticipation and excitement and also stress, that you get home and it feels like a lull. It's not an enjoyable slow down, right? And I kind of just vegetate by I'm tired, so I'm unable to do things anyway. But at the same time, because my excitement levels during those moments right now of work are like so high, that the coming down to come home and just like the idea of playing a video game is kind of weird. Like, I'm just kind of like, I can't really do it at the moment.
Yeah.
And it does feel like a weird, exhausting lull.
Yeah.
And unless it's like meant to be short. I don't know. I envy Liam's experience a few weeks ago playing The Ramp. I would love to play The Ramp these days.
Yes.
The idea of launching something that you could probably only get maybe 2 hours out of to see everything, but maybe 4 to 6 hours to have fun with the central mechanics of the thing. That sounds like heaven.
And it's why I struggled to play 12 minutes.
Ooh,
you tried it too.
You guys played it. I spoiled the ending for myself.
It kind of looks like a George Bait sort of game.
I was so excited to play this game. I saw like one trailer way back. It's just the same as like 3 other games that's come out this year where I was so excited, and then when I played it, I was like, oh. I was so disappointed. It's a fucking point and click game. And I was like, fuck. I was like, I don't want to play this shit.
A facade style conversation system, and it's not that either.
I was like, oh fuck. And not only that, like when you first play it, it's clunky. Day one. They patched it up a little bit, it's a little bit better, but it's still not polished. You know, like when you walk in and she's like, oh, I didn't hear you come in. You didn't hear the fucking door? Like Like, it's just, oh my God, there's so many little things that really break you out of it. And there's some really good voice actors. I mean, really good voice actors.
It's Daisy Ridley and William Dafoe.
Yeah, man.
That's where the budget went.
That's where the budget went. It
didn't
go to the gameplay, because let me tell you. No, okay, all right. Like, I'm being a little bit too harsh, but
I got to admit, when I found out it was a point and click, I immediately was like, I'm good.
Exactly, Liam.
I don't know why.
Exactly.
Well, there are some good point and clicks.
Dude,
yeah, I don't know why.
Clicks I liked a point and click before. I can't remember what it was, but it was done a certain way. And this was just so. It wasn't like a great point and click. Like there's no Monkey Island. Like it's it's just there.
You know, the last word of the point and click game would be like point and click adventure, and I feel like you can make a room that takes you can make a game that takes place in one room with people talking dramatically at each other, but I feel like you can't call it a point and click adventure.
Yeah.
Like the mechanics, I was hoping that there would be more of a dynamic conversation system going on, because it is mostly the one room. Like occasionally you get to see a closet or something, right? I don't know. In all honesty, I only played so many minutes of this that I don't think I can talk about it that much, but I did echo a lot of what I'm hearing from you guys too.
Okay, so you only played a few minutes. In the beginning of it, it's intriguing, right? You're pulling back the layers. You're figuring out what happened, and you're doing like really cool things to kind of figure out the solution, and the solutions are pretty easy.
Okay.
Then it gets to the realm of what the fuck do I do? In this small little tiny fucking yeah. And this, like, the solution is nuts. Like, it's not like and it blows your mind what it is too. You're like, what? What?
You gotta
I'm
buy
the
strategy guide.
Yeah, it's one of those, and it's not worth beating it. I know people. Some people liked it. That's
what kind of drifted me away was the feeling that it's only at its best in the beginning.
Yes, it did give you. It gives you that nice warm feeling in the beginning. I was like, man, this is cool, and then it just tapers off to just insanity for the last bit. It's not worth beating. I would say take two if you want to see it and you want to enjoy the story with the voice acting. Watch a gameplay.
I entirely spoiled the ending for myself because I knew I wasn't going to play it, but I wanted to know what the hubbub was about, and I was like, oh, I'm going to read it.
What did you think about the ending without spoiling anything?
Because I don't know anything, right?
Oh, you don't. That's right. You don't know. So it doesn't hit.
Yeah, I know,
as much.
But like it's interesting premise. I think for like the amount of like different endings it has and like how you meant to get to them in obscure ways, I think I would have just been massively frustrated and just been like, I don't really want to do this.
He doesn't know who he is, Liam. That result that you're seeing, he doesn't know.
It's basically the amnesiac. Yeah.
Yeah, like all of a sudden, I remember everything. That type of bullshit. Yeah.
Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah. Ugh. Gross. There's another game. I beat another game. What is the other game I beat?
Man beats so many games.
It's not Greek. It's not Greek. Greek. Is it Greek?
Greece.
Greek. Memories of Azur. That one.
Is this like Shrek's weird brother, Greg?
No, it's a beautifully hand-drawn game where you get to play as 3 little kids. I don't know what's up with these kid games, man.
Kids are.
Does a game become a kid game if it has kids in it?
No, it doesn't. But god damn it, I play a lot of kid games now. You know what I mean? Like how many times do I have to play a little girl? That's what I played. Arietta of Spirits. Yeah, that's what I played. Yeah, okay.
Kids still have dreams. They still have energy. They still have happiness in their lives.
Greak is great until they ask you to play as both characters, and then they ask you to play as 3 characters. In order to control 2 characters at the same time and move them simultaneously throughout the world, you have to hold the L trigger and jump.
The old Skyward Sword nonsense.
At the same time, and they both jump differently. They jump differently, and sometimes platforms are farther away, so the girl has a float jump like Peach, and you have a double jump. So imagine trying to get to a platform or any type of platforming in this platforming game while controlling 2 characters. I can't even imagine 3. The AI does not control the other character. You don't switch like Trine. What the fuck is going on with these fucking games?
It looks like you're having to move them around really complicated Metroidvania levels, like big vertical shafts with a lot of obstacles.
It seems like you have to drop them off, do the thing, come pick them back up, and then you can call them too with right trigger, and the AI will bring them to you. But like, it's just most time-consuming bullshit. Like, it's such a good game otherwise. It's insane. Like, why would they do that? Like, why not? Like, I don't want puzzles with 2 people. Like, who gives a fuck?
They saw Brothers, Tale of Two Sons, and they were like, that.
No,
we're going to do that.
They looked back at the Jabu Jabu's belly level in Ocarina of Time and how you have to carry the princess through half the level and thought, yes!
The music's good. It's fun to play. The combat is fine. It's weighty. The hand-drawn scenes. I mean, its quality is great. What the fuck? that I swear, if they didn't have that feature, man, it would have gotten so much good press. I would feel. I feel it would have sold a lot. I mean, I'm pretty sure it sold a lot. Probably people didn't know it was gonna go down that road. I mean, no one has done that before. I guess they were trying to be different.
Everyone loves Ico so much, but I guess that's because the girl's AI could handle it.
That's different. You're dragging her along and then you're leaving her behind to go do stuff. This is literally you have to jump and do everything with all the characers.
Is it meant to be a co-op game instead?
No.
Like, maybe that's what happened.
I think it's a single player. It's a single player game. You're meant to do that. That's
if they added controls for it, then yeah, definitely they were supposed to.
It's a single player action fantasy action adventure.
Looks pretty.
Yeah.
But I remember
it's really pretty.
Trying to play Trine by myself and hitting a very similar roadblock of a co-op game that was clearly not meant to be played on one controller.
God. If they make it that you can play with 2 other people, it's not going to happen because you don't get all 3 characters at the start.
So your friend has to sit around and wait, like in Monster Hunter.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's man, dude, it was almost a good game. It was almost a good game. I was really happy to find that. But I have another game. But what have you guys been playing?
Jesus. Well, I tried to give 12 minutes ago. It was like last week with a minute. I tried to find a short game that I thought I could get through in time and ended up not being able to. I had a very busy weekend where I went out of town and saw my mom and packed Eddie up in a car.
Oh, how did he find it? How did the little man find it?
Eddie really doesn't like parked cars. He's fine when the car is moving, though.
There is a running theme with this dog that he doesn't like very much.
He scares easily. He's afraid of the rain and the thunder.
There was a YouTube comment this week that said something like, "It's nice to know Eddie is the dog version of George."
Yes.
Yeah, if I'm
perfect,
projecting my problems onto this dog, I guess I might have hit a lucky streak. But yeah, I don't know where my fucking time goes. I tried to play games. I bought and installed and downloaded 12 minutes and played through the first couple loops and then had to put together the writing outline for the podcast. A lot of fun news stories, though. But more importantly, I thought everyone would appreciate hearing the story of how, over my 30-plus years of existence, I've never actually sat my mom down to watch an anime.
I mean, you could barely sit yourself down to watch an anime either. So this is interesting.
But it's a movie, so it's an easy one.
Oh, okay.
What I've been doing in her older ages is bringing over USB drives full of our all-time favorite classic movies, like her stuff from decades ago before I was born, and then some movies we have fond memories together in my childhood. And then some weird favorites of mine that I doubt she ever saw along the way. One of which is, of course, if you're going to show someone real anime for the first time, you might as well start them off with My Neighbor Totoro. And I'm telling you, it was absolutely positively magical seeing this 80-year-old woman who had no idea what a Nippon is, actually giggle and smile at the cute little rabbit Totoros moving across the screen. And I also really thought it was funny that one of the first things she said was, "They don't look Japanese to me." And I just wanted to be like, it's kind of a weird thing to say, Mom, but you're also kind of sort of right, and that's kind of why this stuff got so popular internationally, and why anime is so much bigger than the Japanese live-action movie industry, is because when a character is drawn out and stylized, they can look like whatever the viewer is going to be imagining in their head for them to look like, rather than something they may not identify with on a more abstract personal level.
Yeah, I mean, you'll rarely find a lot of anime that has actual Japanese people or look Japanese. I think Satoshi Kon's movies, maybe.
Kind of like how Yakuza is one of the few games where the models are realistically scanned.
Yeah, actually has Japanese people in it.
and I also think it's like a little funny how in the later Final Fantasy games, as the models getting scanned in get more and more realistic, you can finally start to see a little bit of that eking in too. But yeah, it was a really just magical bonding experience. She's really into painting. She loves watercolors, and so she adored the backgrounds, the foliage, the leaves, the trees, how they are so good at drawing what it looks like when grass blows in the wind. Yeah, that was magical and wonderful. And I also put on the list of important George movies for mother-son bonding time as Bo Burnham. I put Bo Burnham's Inside on one of the drives too.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
It was, yeah. I would have been interested to see how she could handle it, and if it might have been too much for her. And maybe it is, because the forces of the universe decided this wouldn't happen. As it turns out, her old grandma computer cannot play 1080p videos at 30 frames per second. Her old grandma Wi-Fi cannot stream them from Netflix at 1080p at 30 frames per second on the TV I was trying to blow it up at. I worked my millennial cable cutting skills to get an offline backup copy hosted somewhere out there in the darker reaches of the internet. And as it turns out, that file was corrupted and would not play past 9 minutes. So 3 different mysterious technical errors prevented me from trying to get my mom to sympathize with millennial doomer angst, but she absolutely empathized with millennial anime obsession, and I think now gets it. And I'm really glad she saw Totoro, because if there's one anime that I think clearly explains why that stuff got so popular and how it taps into the irresistible cuteness of things, and also how it makes use of the animation style. Like, one thing I thought about is that most of Totoro does not necessarily need to be animated, except for the scenes with the monsters. Those are probably the only ones where big, ginormous, huge mouth, loud roar monsters probably would not look as cute in live action as they do in anime. And it's also the only part of that where like supernatural stuff happens, where live action effects and costume budget might not look so good. But besides that, it's still animated. I felt like that's a stark difference between Western animation, where like everything is stylized, and in anime a lot of stuff will like look realistic instead, and stay grounded up until the fantasy stuff starts happening. And that was, I think, new to her, because she said that occasionally when she's doing her artwork, she will watch cartoons for inspiration.
Cool.
But that this but she was like, this is beautiful, but it also just looks almost like photography. Yeah, a lot of
Would you watch more anime?
Fun
was
observations.
That the conclusion?
You know, I'm thinking of maybe putting your name on the next disc I bring over. I wonder if
that's a tearjerker.
If she would like your name. But I'm thinking there's definitely some like wholesome, cute. There's a lot of wholesome cuteness out there for sure. That are good grandma animes. Maybe more people should talk about that. It's probably way easier getting your mom and your grandma into anime than video games, for sure. If you want to try to bond with them over one of your nerdier interests.
Yeah.
My mom would just be like, fuck off.
Why though? Why? Why hate on Totoro? Totoro never hurt anyone.
No, I know, right?
I mean, would it be like too cute for her? Would it be too wholesome, too fuzzy and magical?
Maybe. It'd be hard to penetrate that grizzled skin.
Oh, so she wants edgier stuff. You want to show her Hellsing then?
Oh yeah.
Time to get watching Evangelion.
Oh God! I still had. You guys rewatched it. And I haven't watched that.
Oh,
shit.
Can I just chime in with one of the things I did recently?
Yes,
I watched the final Evangelion movie.
Oh yeah, that was the final Evangelion
3.0 plus 1.0.
So how many times has Evangelion ended at this point? Let's see. What was the formula again? The algebra in the title?
So there was the original TV show. Then there was the redo. Was that End of Evangelion, maybe?
There was where they redid the ending, so they re-ended something that had already ended.
Well, I can't remember. That was so confusing. And then obviously the two movies, and then the second one takes a drastic turn into almost like an alternate universe. And then the third one explains why these things are happening and ends differently for reasons.
So there's Evangelion 1.0, you are in parentheses not alone. Yeah. Evangelion 2.0, you can in parentheses not advance. Evangelion 3.0, you can in parentheses not redo. And this one is Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 thrice upon a time. What does that mean?
I don't know. It's just Hideki Anno doing what he does with Evangelion. It's about, I can't remember. It's like 2.5 hours long. It's very pretty. There's a lot of nonsense. It's Evangelion. The first like 20 minutes are great. From 20 minutes to like 1 hour and a half, it's terrible, slow, droll nonsense. And then it ends climactically as you'd expect, and some cool flashy animation, and then it ends trying to wrap up Evangelion. And it's weird because I did ask
the 5th time.
I did ask myself while I was watching it. Oh, that leads me into another thing I watched recently that I would like to talk about as well. But I was watching it and I was like, am I going to finish this? Am I enjoying this? I don't know whether I am. But then when it ended, I was just left with melancholy. And was like, wow, that's Evangelion ended.
Yeah, well, maybe that was the Evangelion's a downer, you know? Maybe the melancholy is how it's...
Yeah, but it ends on with no spoilers, it ends on a happy note. Like, but how you take that happy note, I think, based on how they get to that point, I don't know. I don't know whether you could say it was happy or not. It's interesting to see what is essentially history in the making, right? Like, I don't think anybody needs me to say how much of an understatement it would be to say how culturally effective Evangelion is in this country. It is everything in Japan. Evangelion is like Pokemon. It is something every single person knows about and will have, it's been going on since the 90s. So it's something that has, I have Japanese friends who cried at the end of the final movie because it was such almost like a relief that it was over and that this cultural historic moment finally came. I don't think anybody realized how long, these people have been waiting for it. And Evangelion is like as Anno said recently, which I don't necessarily agree with, but he said, Evangelion is for Japanese people. It's made with the Japanese mind for Japanese people. And because it is it's a reflection of the society they live in, according to him, and the pressures of being a Japanese person.
Yeah, no, I absolutely feel that.
So while Evangelion is worldwide popular, not to the extent of some other anime, but it is, of course, a phenomenon outside of Japan as well. In Japan, it's like nothing else. It's it's huge, right? It's a cultural cornerstone. So I think it coming to an end is quite an incredible time to witness. Whether the movie was good or not was never really going to matter.
That happened a few times before? They said it's the end. Is it really the end this time? Can we really know for sure?
Well, yeah, because Anno can't make any more. He literally is like stabbing needles into his eyes even when he has to work on the current ones.
That's the vibe I was getting from the 90s ones.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. It sent Anno into like a spiraling depression, so...
Like I was getting a very Metal Gear Solid impression of this guy who wanted to wrap the thing up a while ago, didn't want to keep making the same franchise his whole entire life, and that Evangelion had kind of become more about the marketing than the storyline at this point in history.
No, I don't think the marketing in Japan, because it's kind of like how you just use cultural artifacts everywhere, right? Like, you just see Evangelion in museums and the characters in weird positions.
I remember the jingle on the train happening. It absolutely is.
The Eva Shinkansen that went around that I used to see every day. That was weird. A big purple and green train that flew through the Japanese countryside. It was pretty crazy. But no, it was fine. It wasn't as good as the only other movie I watched recently. God, I don't watch anything or play anything. Why am I here? I don't know if you guys have seen this, because it's kind of hard for people to watch at the moment.
Your expert insider insight.
Yeah, that thing gets me in trouble all the time. I watched The Green Knight.
Oh, cool. I might be watching that soon.
Have you seen it, Matt?
No, I want to.
Okay.
But I have to go to the movies in order to do that. And it's been a while since I've been to the movies by myself. It's been a while since I just hey, I'm gonna do this for me. Yeah. I'm gonna be one of those cats I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna enjoy this movie because I want to see it. Yeah, I haven't done that in a while. So how is it? I want to see Free Guy as well, and I still haven't seen that yet.
I also watched Suicide Squad, but that was fine.
I watched that too.
I'm not gonna see Suicide Squad.
That was fine. That was fine. But The Green Knight. Another movie.
What's wrong with Suicide Squad?
It was fine. It was fine. Okay, a quick tangent, as we always do. I thought it was fine.
It's okay.
It's the best DC movie, but is that really hard to say anything?
Yeah, that's right. Go on. Carry on. Green Knight. Was it good?
I thought it was Guardians of the Galaxy, but with DC characters. That's what it was.
I don't know if that's fair.
I think it's like adult Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's literally Suicide Squad where like they actually die.
They do die.
They die. And that's what it's supposed to be. The first one was not that. It's a better Suicide Squad. Hands down.
Yeah, it's way better.
Green Knight. Is it actually worth?
Just want to say John Cena is great.
Yeah, John Cena is great.
Yeah, John Cena's great. He's great. Okay, so from John Cena to Arthurian legend.
The representation of your culture here.
Yes. So, and what I love mostly about The Green Knight, I've got to say, is if you watch it, you will know what I grew up in around, because it's basically filmed entirely in the Welsh landscapes.
Oh, I love that.
All of those fields and whatnot. That's
what
my
would be tickling
my
me
home.
too. Yeah.
But it's very easy to be convinced that it's, some medieval thing. It's weird because this movie entirely takes place basically in one forest. And that's it. Like one forest and one room.
Thought it was an epic.
No, it's not. It plays itself off as an epic, and the trailers are epic, but it's not. It's much more asking you to think about things, and it's much more thinking about like the character, like Dev Patel's character. I've got to admit, Dev Patel, what a handsome man! My goodness, what a handsome devil! Great acting. He's great, but his character is not exactly likable. Sir Gawain the Knight. Not exactly a likable character, and they purposely do that. They make him sometimes seem like he's a hero, and then sometimes he's a coward, and the balance of the can he be a knight, and the whole point that he's building his mythos, right? It would almost be some college kid's experimental film. That's what it's like. It's like that, and there's a lot of like experimental shots where he's like dead, but he's not really dead, and there's a moment where he eats mushrooms, right? Like he eats mushrooms because he's like out in the wilderness and he's trying to survive, right? This is not so much of a spoiler. And he's trying to eat mushrooms. And then of course, the movie plays it off like he's eating the mushrooms, but maybe he's high, but you don't really know. And then he meets these creatures of mythos and stuff. And the movie plays with the idea of what is fantasy and what is not. Grounded very in this grim, medieval reality.
The bicameral mind hypothesis, the Total War Troy stuff. It's like, do the gods really exist, or are we just having a bad hurricane season?
I mean, the Green Knight, right? Like, the Green Knight is summoned by magic of his... So, Gawain's mother in this is Arthur's sister, which is Mary... What's her name?
I'm gonna look it up, but I did want to ask if the mushroom trip provides the like plausible explanation for all the magic and mythology going on.
Morgan Le Fay is her name. Sorry, that's why I had M. Morgan Le Fay. So Arthur's real. Yeah. So Gawain in this is her son. Yeah, so it's kind of weird because you're like, well, his mother summons the Green Knight to create this trial, essentially, for him to become a knight or something, and it's all played off. And I've got to admit, like, it gives me that chills of like the dialogue is softly spoken, and you, my good sir, are you a knight, or what do you do? Is it for honor? Like, it's all that kind of prose, very, fantasy English.
Oh yeah, it's do they actually like speak with rhyming poetry sometimes?
Kind of, and it's like, I will face it. For not will I go to the challenge, for I am a knight. Right, like it's like that kind of stuff, right?
Hell, this sounds like my jam. This absolutely sounds like my jam.
But I spent most of the movie watching and being kind of disappointed because I gotta admit, nothing really fucking happens, right? Like in hindsight. But then after,
sounds like my jam.
But then it has a really unique ending, like a really great unique ending that I was like watching it like, what the fuck? They pulled this out of the fire. Like, what is this shit? And then after I finished it, I was like, damn, I can't stop thinking about that. Damn. And then I spent the whole next day thinking about the movie, and I was like, okay, didn't necessarily have the best of times watching it for 2 hours, but can't stop thinking about it. And now I think I really liked it. So it's one of those movies for sure. Like you're. I think the trailer makes it seem more epic than it actually is. It's definitely not an action movie. It's nothing like that. It's all like weird, almost David Lynchian style cuts shots and stuff like that.
Love to see David Lynch do ancient mythology or medieval mythology, either or.
But I enjoyed it. It's a good watch. It's worth the wait, I think. The trailers made it off to look like the hottest shit. But Dev Patel is great. All of the acting is great. Especially Alicia Vikander, whatever her name is, Vikander. She's great.
Vikinger.
The guy who plays the king plays Arthur, and the woman who plays Guinevere both have like really great Welsh accents, and I'm like, yes, get in there. Especially Guinevere, she has an amazing Welsh accent.
Oh god, good. I'm just gonna think of Liam the whole time whenever I end up watching this.
It's great. Dev Patel's great because he plays this character that has a duality. If you want to like him and root for him, but at the same time, man, sometimes you just like, pick yourself up, you piece of shit. Fucking, what are you doing? Oh, come on. Come on.
How is the costuming? Do they look a little modern? Because like from some of the trailers and the screenshots, it does look like his crown is chiseled out of a machinery made out of steel. And I'm wondering
no, the crown is cool.
From how different the real movie is, if it might look a little more rustic and historical when you're watching the whole thing rather than the trailer.
No, kind of no. It still has a lot of, his like yellow cape that stands out that you see a lot. Gets dirtied a lot, but still has like that banana yellow about it.
And also the Green Knight himself, is that the tree man? The Groot looking.
I've got to admit, the Green Knight, when there are close-up shots of him, you can tell it's a costume. You're like, that looks a little rough. But the fact that it's practical and not CGI, I do like it. And his voice is fucking sweet. It's fucking sweet. For who can land a blow upon me? It's pretty epic.
Wanting to imagine his costume being like part of a bas-relief chiseled out of stone or etched into an old woodworking carving instead of looking like it's a modern CGI creation directly descended from Groot and the Ents from Lord of the Rings. And it looks like it goes both ways depending on the shot.
Yeah, it's more artistic than it is a knight-based action film. It's definitely... Its use of color is great. The film, even though it does take place in literally like 2 sets, the cinematography is pretty incredible. Yeah, I think Matt, you'd enjoy it for that aspect.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch it.
Yeah, there are some.
I'm gonna watch it. Yeah,
but nothing really looks fake in it because everything's shot outside or inside a castle, and you will have seen in you watched the trailer, right, guys?
Yeah.
So. This is the only point that disappointed me. And I don't know what the budget was for this film, but in the trailer, there are those giants. He sees those giants, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So those giants, in the trailer, they look okay. But when in the movie you meet them and you see them up close, it definitely looks like real human beings just filmed on a CGI screen and then blown up. It's so, they don't look like giants. They look like human actors just on a green screen. It looks really fucking weird. It looks really weird.
I think it sounds kind of charming though. Like it would be cute to think to yourself that that's just a man in a costume. Like Godzilla movies are no less fun because it's obvious it's someone in a costume.
No. It's like human features. Like it's like a human person in just normal makeup. Like, imagine the Attack on Titans, right? Even they look like humanoid, but more like giants than these characters do. It's very night and day between them.
Rewatching it, they do kind of look like whenever Joel Haver needs to animate a troll or something, and it's just him without a shirt on and his belly out. It's just like a schlubby naked white guy.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Still, even now, I kind of want to rewatch it. Or at least I want to rewatch condensed versions of my favorite scenes because it does feel like it's a long movie. Like, I did check the time at least 3 times. Like, wait, it's only been an hour? Okay. But I did watch it in one sitting, so it's pretty good. It was a good time.
You make it sound real fun. You make it sound like absolutely
yeah,
a good time.
I think both of you would enjoy it. Definitely. I think for different reasons, but I think you would enjoy it.
For sure.
For sure. I think, Matt, you might find it a little slow. Like, same as me.
Really?
A little bit.
It has to be boring for it to be slow for me. I watched Breaking Bad, and that shit's slow.
It can almost be boring.
What I would be doing is looking up trivia from the actual Arthur legends on my phone during all the slow parts and having a blast doing that.
I didn't pull out my phone that often. So that actually, it tells you that it keeps you engaged. Like, you're like, I wonder what's going to happen. So that's good because, yeah, I check my phone all the time.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I watch a lot of shitty movies, so.
Then I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah. I watch a lot of shitty movies, so I think I'll be okay.
But yeah, you got anything else to talk about, Matt, before we go to the news? I see a couple items on your list that you didn't get to.
I go through a lot of things.
Yeah, you do.
I do. Yeah.
Well, we love you for it. Well, literally, what would we do if you did?
What would we do without
this podcast? Would just be Liam at work and George talking about Hunt. That's literally what this podcast.
The dog. He's
we would have
over here napping in his bed.
We have another.
Well, people get super duper pissy when they can't see Eddie. The cute pictures on Twitter are not enough. So
imagine my response just then to any dog you have seen you enjoyed, and then
we could hear how cute he looked from your response.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Anyways,
Arietta of Spirits.
Apostrophe.
No. I put that there. I was just fucking around. Arietta.
Oh my god! Spirits. I almost. Okay. Anyways,
Arietta of Spirits. This game, it's a short explanation. Zelda clone. It's cute.
It's cute.
It's cute. It's like a origin story of something epic that could be happening. Like, it's a very short and sweet. You're on an island. Your grandma died. Something happens. You know, you become a spirit warrior. Like, it's cute. It's so cute. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Like, if you want like a nice little short story of, again, playing as a kid.
Because they have a lot more flexibility than old men. I'm seeing her doing a lot of roles, and I know I would not be able to.
I'm starting to see a pattern here.
Yeah. That seems to be like all the indie games are just you playing as kids.
Or just all the indie games that Matt plays.
Oh, really?
Well, no, 12 minutes is supposed to be very adult and mature, right?
That's true. Actually, I did see the trailer for this on the Nintendo channel today, and I was like, "Ooh, that looks pretty."
You say Zelda clone, which I want to ask a question about, and that is the dungeon to overworld ratio. Because my favorite part in every Zelda game are the cute towns, cute overworld, cute side stories to go through. My least favorite parts are always the dungeons.
It's not a dungeon game. It's more you're exploring the island.
Good.
There are caves, but they're not dungeons. They're just
good
indoor outside
Zelda
areas.
itself seems to have come to a similar conclusion, actually, come to think of it.
I feel like the driving force of this would be like seeing what happens or uncovering the mystery. I wouldn't say the story is that good or anything like that, but it keeps you intrigued enough to get through. I don't know, it's probably as short as 12 minutes or maybe a little bit longer than 12 minutes.
It's only 12
probably
minutes
like
long?
4 or 5 hours.
No,
yeah, 12 minutes is only 12 minutes.
Title, not the common nouns.
I'm just gonna say, Matt, I hope you use that as like an indicator. It's as long as 12 minutes. Just in the future. Just say it's as long as 12 minutes.
Yeah, it's as long as 12 minutes.
It's about 12 minutes long.
About 12 minutes long. Yeah. Short, sweet.
We got another indecipherable inside joke that's gonna catch on.
Yeah, I've had meals longer than that. Yeah, no. It's a short and sweet one. It's, if you want a cute Zelda clone, You look up the trailer. It looks nice enough. What is it like $14? I say it's all right. I wouldn't say it's a must buy.
It looks pretty atypical indie.
Yeah. It's there. It
You know,
I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it for some reason. Yeah. It had good mechanics with the
compared
bosses
to
so.
Death's Door, though, how does it stack up to Death's Door? Zelda clones seem to be.
I enjoyed this way more than Death's Door. But I didn't actually finish that. I beat the first boss, and I was just so out of it. This had something going for it. It had me I need a reason to play the game. They introduce you to the story. Like I don't want to spoil too much, but like a spirit comes to visit you in the middle of the night, and she freaks out. Like, you know those emotions that you see in I Can Fail and stuff like that, where in the pixel art, there's lots of that little quirky stuff like that happens. And you're like, oh, okay. And you help certain people move on into the afterlife, kind of like that boat game that everyone likes.
Oh,
that I never finished.
Spiritfarer.
Yeah. But and so you go around the island, and sometimes you meet spirits that need help, and they have interesting ways of how they died and why they're still there.
What do you reckon?
Yeah.
If you were a spirit who was tied to this dirtly earth and you couldn't pass on without some poor child having to do your last request, what would be the unlocking quest for you to... Matt, yours, of course, would be sell your NFTs.
Yeah, sell my NFTs and give it to my mom. Give my mom all the money.
The kid would have to log on. George, what would be yours?
They'd have to finish up all the projects I'm behind on.
Oh, Jesus. They're never going to do that.
Sell all of them.
Yes.
They become George. It just gets me.
They have to become Super Bunny Hop.
I would pay for that life insurance policy.
I mean, I don't disagree, actually. Mine would be something like finish the game I'm working on.
Yeah, basically your Undertaker gets to be your intern and
yeah. Do you know how to design levels in Unity? No? Ah, shit. I'm going to have to find a different Guardian.
Yeah.
So the deal here is that I would pay every single month so that I could die early of a young death, and then they'd have to finish up my projects for me. And they could consider all those monthly payments beforehand as their compensation. That's how it would work.
You don't want to see what VR has to hold. You don't want to be inside of the Sword Art Online world with all the jiggly anime girls.
If there actually is gonna be a few, it's been a while since we've heard about that PSVR 2 news, and that was the one thing kind of keeping me holding on. I still have hope for the future, but the past 6 months to a year, I mean, we haven't seen a lot of great VR news come out since December 2020-ish, but yes, as a matter of fact, I would put it higher on my priorities list to catch up with my old projects than be a ghost to see what VR is like in the afterlife in the future if I die young. Yes, I had a depressing question about the economics of the game industry.
Oh, of course.
And what might be a cold, harsh reality check. And that is, if Matt can testify that the quality of the level design and the gameplay and the feedback and all the stuff that we did have issues with Death's Door are not there with Arietta of Spirits. If it seems like there's two good Zelda clones around nowadays, and one of them is clearly at least tickling one of us better than the others, how come Death's Door got all the good marketing and positive reviews and no one knows about Arietta of Spirits?
That's just marketing. And isn't Death's Door part of what's that? The publisher. What's the publisher?
Yeah, it's Devolver. But arguably,
that's why they get a cut, a huge cut.
Of course, they're the publisher. They also get whatever percentile. But arguably, Death's Door looks more unique. It obviously it has more polish. It's more of a higher production.
And you got to factor that in, but damn, it's depressing.
Yeah, but it's a huge factor. Why does AAA sell so well and get so much backing and marketing and TV spots and blah, blah, blah?
Because the horse testicles shrink.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing. I think, you think about, the difference between something like a JRPG with, that is generic as hell, but it has marketing for days and days and days. And then, all those unique indie RPGs that are all pixel art and stuff like that, they don't go anywhere. That's all like cult fandom that they spiral out of. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's kind of interesting that the three of us didn't like Death's Door, but the general consensus.
I mean, that happened.
I don't think it's that we didn't like it. It was disappointing.
It wasn't good. Yeah. It wasn't good enough to hold the attention.
My theory was that it had better content in the second half that we never got around to.
That's also possible, and that's why we're not professional reviewers. We shit talk on a podcast. That is, well, George is supposed to be, but as we've already established, a small child needs to replace him and finish all of his projects.
Yeah.
The death is my escape from my deadline.
Death is his door. Out of here.
Oof.
George's door.
Well, you have your dog now. You can't leave the dog behind. So.
You could just blame everything on the dog. Just be like, I've got to take care of the dog. Can't finish this video. And everyone be like, oh, don't worry, Eddie's amazing.
No, you got to finish the video.
Unironically, I mean, but it's really, really depressing when I got back from my mom's house and I had to unpack the car. And that meant carrying a dog crate, a dog bed, a big ass backpack with a weekend worth of overnight supplies on my back that was also pumped up from some birthday clothes she gave me. And it took 3 trips and I was like sweating and panting the whole time. One of them I had to carry the dog with me because I ultimately decided that would be easier than carrying him in the crate. And there was another family moving in who had like the whole family together. Everyone had their share of heavy things to carry up, and they were doing it all in one go. And when they saw me huffing and puffing with the dog, they're like, "Oh, he's so cute. You can have the elevator. We'll get the next one." And I just wanted to die and have a little child finish my projects for me in that moment.
The dog is power.
The dog is power and leverage, but it also like hammers home how much like practical, materialistic time you save when you have friends and family helping you out through tasks in life. Because unpacking a car from a road trip that's you and a dog turned out to be considerably more time and effort than just unpacking the car by myself.
You will have to train Eddie to learn how to take his stuff with him out of the car.
I don't think he's got the energy for that.
Oh my God, look at him. Ah, God, that is adorable.
Yeah, imagine, if you will, the Hal dog huddling around eggs, except there are no eggs underneath Eddie's belly, but that's what he looks like right now.
Every time I see a calm dog or a calm cat that cuddles next to you, it makes me want to get a pet. It makes me want to get a pet, man.
It does. When I see his little head tucked in his basket, ugh.
I just remember all the other shit I have to do. I'm just like, oh, fuck. No, fuck that. I'd rather go over to someone else's house and be like, oh, you're so cute.
Oh, look at him. He's so adorable.
Yeah. And then I can go home.
That's true. Same with children. You're like, oh, it's great to wrestle and play with them. And you're like, oh, it's 5 p.m. See you later.
All right, peace.
Peace. I'm going to smoke weed and get high, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man.
We are horrible people. Truly dads in name only, never in actual action.
George is the real dad, but he's always been the real dad.
That's true.
I am trying my darndest to make sure that Eddie is happy and healthy and fine. And good Lord, that takes more time than I was expecting.
And George, you've been happier because of it. Have you noticed?
I mean, for the past 2 weeks. This week, I kind of...
There is a strange lull this week where you're almost sounding with
I was trying not to say that.
Yeah.
No,
God damn it.
The thing is, I'm very disappointed in myself, as usual, but especially this point because I didn't get to play more of 12 minutes and talk about it. That
Who
really,
cares about 12 minutes?
Waste of time.
When you've got a dog. No offense to 12 minutes, but you've got a dog. Who cares?
A dog is way more important than 12 minutes. Now, play something else.
I'd rather play with my dog for 12 minutes than
play 12 minutes for 4 hours. What a sentence. What a weird sentence I just said with my mouth.
Yes.
Play 12 minutes. It takes 4 hours.
Endlessly die until you figure out Like, fuck, why can't I beat this fucking cop? Why?
That's
why?
so funny.
Like, can you imagine if you could totally kill the cop? There's no reason why you couldn't kill the cop.
Oh, you can? Fuck that guy. He's kind of a dick.
No, I mean like every time you try to like the regular ways, like take a knife from the stove and try to stab him.
Take knife, use on cop.
Yeah, and it never works. It never works. Cop is always stronger than you. I'm like, dude, like he's coming in the door, hide on the table and fucking stab him. Like,
don't talk to the cops. Just hide.
Yeah, I just games like this always drive me nuts. They always drive me nuts. Anyways, yeah. Yeah, that's it for me. I'm dried.
Are you sure?
I'm dried up.
There's something on here. I can't believe it. My eyes are deceiving me, but do I see a fourth item on your list on the outline?
Like, there's a lot of things that I like dip my toe into, and I never end up talking about it. But Grime is one of them that I played.
And it's just called Grime.
It's called Grime, and
Metrovania, right?
Yeah,
right up your wheelhouse.
Right up
You've
my
played
wheelhouse.
them all.
It's a hard game. It feels good. Halfway point, it starts to feel boring. I can't remember exactly. This was like a couple weeks ago. Exactly what made me not want to finish.
So, how long to beat says 12 hours. I'm getting the vibe. Maybe they should have cut it in half. Just make a shorter game.
Yeah, like you reach the halfway point. You can upgrade your weapons now. That's part of the reason why, like, it's definitely like a Souls-like game, like for sure. Like you,
Soulsivania.
Yeah, you have a scaling with your attributes and everything like that, and you're scared to spend your points, right? Like I am. I'm that type of dude where I play a Souls game. Where do I fucking spend my points?
Yeah.
I don't want to put them all in fucking strength. Like, I fucking hate that about Dark Souls. Hate it.
Really?
It is the worst barrier to entry. Forget how hard the game is. I don't give a fuck about how hard the game is. I care about being optimal in my build, at least to the point where it's not taking away from, like, me beating a boss. And I feel like that happens so much.
Oh, because in the back of your head, you're worrying,
Yes.
like, oh, maybe if I had a couple more points put into,
Yes.
I don't know, Soul's Tinge, Blood Tinge. That was the one in Bloodborne that you didn't want to put any points into.
Yep.
Oh, if only I hadn't dumped points in the useless stat, the game would be so much easier. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, shit, that little bit of damage definitely helps. You know how many times you leave bosses on little slivers and shit?
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like, oh, fuck, wow. Now I have to try to beat this boss 5 more times in order to get to that same exact point I was 5 hours ago. But yeah, like, it happens in this game, but it's a lot worse. It feels a lot worse. You barely get enough weapons, and the weapons are all spread out, and you don't know exactly what the stats do. You're just kind of just trying to figure it out. You get little mutations that you can do with your character. They have armor that they don't tell you exactly what they do at all. It's just armor. There's no stats on it. Like, there's just so much just is left to the fucking ether. Like, you're just guessing. You're like, okay, I got this armor later in the game. I guess I put this shit on now. I explored. I got, like, hidden shit. And then that's what happens. Like, I do everything. I get all the side quests. I get everything. And then I reach that halfway point where there's nothing that's grabbing me to tip over after you reach the top of the mountain. You know, it should be easy from there on out, right? To just roll down the mountain. But I never take the plunge sometimes when I'm at the top right there. I'm just like, I don't feel like playing anymore.
Very poetically put.
Yeah, I don't fucking want to. I don't want to, like, I don't even know where my stats are going to. I'm going to get a weapon. I'm going to want to use it, and the stats are not going to be right. I beat some of these, like, hard secret bosses. They drop these weapons that you can't even use yet, and it takes forever to be able to use it. And once you use it, you realize that it sucks, and you spent all your points doing it. You can't reset your points, so you're just left with extra stuff that you can't extra points that you're not going to use when you're using something else that doesn't even use the points. Like, I hate that mechanic. It does not make me want to play. Otherwise, I would say it's not a bad game. I just don't like that type of stuff. It's fun. The enemies change. It has like a nice is it Earthworm Jim? No, it's this other game. Vector
Man?
Vector.
Yeah. Back
Sounds
in
pretty
SNES. I think it was SNES. It has like this clay feel to it.
Genesis.
Was it Genesis? It was
Genesis.
It was Genesis. Yeah.
It does what Nintendo don't.
Yeah. It's
What? Last. Survive.
yeah. Yeah, it looks kind of like that. The art style's great. Yeah, otherwise it's fun, like nice combat.
Yeah, I've seen it banding around. I like the black hole head idea.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. It's basically, Dead Cells, but Vector. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, other than that, yeah, it's I have a feeling I'm pretty sure I saw some people in a Discord playing it. And hopefully they beat it.
Yeah, I think it's done okay. It reviewed pretty well. Like, it did review pretty well, so
I should probably jump back into it while, like, there's some, like, oh, this is the best guide. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm just going to cheat and use this guide. I'm going to put all my points into this, get this weapon, and then I'm good. And now I feel like I'm actually winning. But, games like that, they want you to replay. They want you to be like, okay, you should replay, redo your build. And I'm just like, I don't want to do that. I don't have time to do that. Like,
I was enjoying the way I was playing.
Yeah.
I like doing that on short games.
12 hours is not short enough for that.
I like doing that. So the biggest problem I have with these games, because, like, great, put points into strength. I know what that's going to do. It's going to make my damage do whatever percentile. It's all words on a screen, right? You don't necessarily feel it because usually enemies scale with you, right? So unless you're seeing visible numbers on the screen, you actually have no visualization of your power whatsoever.
Yeah.
I wish we could have something like what some games do. And I think a good example of this was Ghost of Tsushima, where the skills that you are going to look into, they have little video clips.
Yeah.
Of what it is you're buying, right? Because that's what essentially you're doing, is you're using these points as an economy to buy cooler experiences in that video game. And that's what they should be, right?
Very AAA feeling. I haven't seen that in cheap games, but I see that all the time in AAA.
Yeah, but even then, like in AAA games and RPGs, right, it's like leveling up and stats like that are just numbers, right? But it's only to scale with the enemies that go along, right? You don't necessarily, if you have a game, for example, like Bayonetta, right, your skill doesn't change, but your weapons do, right? But the skill of the player inherently is there from the beginning, right? It'd be great if you could see the difference. Like, you almost know and feel like, okay, I'm going to go down this skill tree because I know I'm going to be this. You know how MMO character creators allow you to see what kind of like final level armor you're going to have? Like, the level cap armor you're going to have at the end sometimes when you're doing the character creative. Like, if you're the Black Mage or something, you have this fucking immense robe, because it gives the player like a goal towards, and like the inspiration of like, shit, I'm gonna aim for that, right? Like, I'm gonna get that. I want to do that. And a lot of the times I think games miss the point of like these enticing reasons as to why experiment with stuff. Why do these things?
I can't believe I'm gonna say this. You know what actually feels good and better than this type of system is this game. Have you ever heard of Rabby Rabby? I think is how you pronounce it.
Ribby, I thought.
Ribby. Weeb fucking trash. But holy shit, is that game fun to play.
Rabby Ribby. Oh, yeah, I looked it up on Steam, and the key art is little girls in swimsuits. Okay.
Yes, weeb trash. But as you fight, like, basically they give you a hammer and they say, hey, you can only do 3 strings right now. But later on, as you use the weapon, you just unlock shit. And as you use it, literally you get a upswing. Your combos get longer. You can do a down drill. All of a sudden the fairy comes with you and you start shooting stuff, and then you can it's a Metrovania too, so you unlock things by just exploring and grabbing an extra energy that you can swap the energy that the fairy shoots. It's a beam now instead of just like a little gun. Like, it's just so much that just makes the game fun. Like, it's just, you just press this button and you do it. That's it. And you use it. The more you use it, the more you use the charge shot, the more you use this one, the more you just upgrade automatically, and it just tell you what it upgrades, and you're back into it. That, my friend, is fun. That is a good game.
Yeah, because it feels like you're being rewarded for using a weapon you want to use, that you like, right? And then that skill of using it and persevering means you're invested in that learning loop that you then get those additional skills, right? Instead of like, it says like, I can do 10 additional damage with melee weapons, but I like using guns, right? But I also don't want to miss out on this extra skill, right?
Maybe guns are the lame way to play this game in particular.
But words are hard to visualize in skill trees, right? Like, it's better to like present the player with options, and then almost like you're buying into something, right? You're buying into an idea, right? You're spending your money on something you want to buy. By the end of this game, I want to be like a katana wielding ninja, right? And that's the path I want to go down. I want to buy into that awesome experience the developers have given me that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very rare to be able to get that right.
Sometimes you gotta dig deep to find something good. Apparently, you gotta fall out from the bottom of the world and fall into some weeb shit.
Some rabby ribby.
Yeah, it's a.
As much as I hate to say it, over the next few episodes, we're gonna have no excuse. Because it's a normal year again, and it's August, which means big games are actually coming out. It definitely feels different than last fall.
Yeah.
We were just talking about 12 minutes, but this week also saw the release of, I can't even believe the words I'm saying, Psychonauts 2 came out. It's getting really good review scores.
Really good,
Wait,
yeah.
It's not out yet, is it?
Out this week.
It's not out yet.
It's out this week. And it's already got a 89 on Metacritic. Humankind is releasing. It's only got an 80. That number probably sounds higher to Liam than.
Are you gonna, dude? If I got an 80, God, I'd like go on a drug fueled rampage. If I got an 80, God damn it!
But I am still really excited to check it out, because any competition with established series is good competition.
Are you gonna play basically what is the new civilization? Is that what?
I think so. Even if it's not great, just to see what it does differently, like a different interpretation of.
I played the beginning of that. It's on Game Pass.
It is on Game Pass. Free real estate.
It's different. Yeah, it's different. It's different. I didn't get through all of it of the beginning, but it's different. It's not, I
played my strategy game for this year.
Yeah.
It was kind of like leveraging a lot of Crusader King stuff. Like, the idea is that you have more of a focus on individual rulers.
The best strategy game this year.
And unironically, actually, I can't believe I got into it because I could not penetrate any of the previous ones.
I honestly was thinking about it just yesterday. And I was thinking, man, I really enjoyed playing that game. It was nonsensical to me, but I fucking really enjoyed it. And I probably will play it again before the year's out. That was a great game.
So Left 4 Dead clones are going to start coming out. Back 4 Blood's coming out in October. Aliens Fireteam Elite just came out. It only got it's coming out tomorrow. But the early reviews are kind of on the low end. It's a 70 on Metacritic at the moment.
Most importantly, and not reviewed yet, by the time this episode comes out, No More Heroes 3 will be out on the Switch. And I watched some video of, I think some streamers and stuff are getting it early. Our tangentially associated friend from Best Friends, Matt McMuscles, had a video about it, and I watched it, and it looked fucking rad. It looks so dumb, like the original No More Heroes games, and I'm very excited as a fan of that series.
Should I play those? Are they good?
Oh, you should play the first one. You should play the remaster of the first one. It's so much. It's just fucking.
Oh, it's on Steam.
It's like a B movie. Like it's a Tarantino film as a game. Like it's dumb. It's Suda. It's great.
Bad reviews. Oh shit.
Do you want to play No More Heroes with the swipey motion controls though?
No, fuck that shit.
Yeah, I don't know. The waggle motion back in the day was not so bad for No More Heroes.
This was supposedly one of the good ones. One of the few good
masturbating
ones.
to charge up your thing. That was a novel concept back then.
It played into the joke of how lame they are, I guess.
There is nothing. I think it's very hard to say in games that there's nothing like something, and there really truly is nothing like No More Heroes. It is by and far the weirdest, jankiest, Deadly Premonition maybe, right? Is maybe. Like, Suda and Swery, good friends, of course, you know, come from a same Japanese image of loving B-movie American stuff. And then that's what makes Deadly Premonitions, which is Twin Peaks, and then No More Heroes, which is essentially like a Quentin Tarantino movie. It's rad. And I can't wait. I'm looking forward to playing in handheld mode No More Heroes 3 for sure.
Deathloop is something I've been looking forward to, and that's only 2 weeks away at this point.
Oh God, is that already coming out?
Mm-hmm.
God,
it's
damn.
happening. The industry, the stuff we've been hearing about is finally coming out now.
Wait, when does it? 2 weeks.
October. It might be the end of the second week. No,
Okay.
September. No,
Okay.
I was wrong. It is September.
All right.
Let me get the exact September 14th.
Just nothing next Monday. That's fine.
Yeah. Buried.
yeah.
Buried. Oh no.
I know what's happening. This was my day.
Did you guys know that Kena Bridge of Spirits comes out tomorrow?
No, it got delayed.
Oh, never mind. That must have been the old release date. September 21st.
It was supposed to come out. It got delayed.
It was supposed to come out, but it got delayed just 3 to 4 weeks. That still feels like something that I remember putting in my far off.
That looks good, but nobody can play it. I saw a PlayStation 5 for $600.
I thought you had a PlayStation 5.
No, I'm trying to get one. I got an Xbox. There was one for $700. There was one for $700. And I asked at the counter, why is it $700? And the man looked me dead in the eyes and he's like, because I can. Like, all right.
No, he didn't.
Really?
In Japanese, he's basically like, I demand. I can.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's surprisingly blunt for Japanese customer service.
Yeah.
No, secondhand store. I mean, Suragaya. So I didn't get to talk about my more retro adventures that I've been going on.
Oh God!
Especially what led me to have a wonderful Saturday evening dancing to a Wii Haruhi Suzumiya video.
Okay, but we got to do it fast, Liam.
Oh no, it deserves a moment, but
fuck news.
George wants to talk about WWE.
I want to also talk about Soulja Boy owning the company Atari.
Why are we giving that man time?
Why?
It's because it's hilarious.
It's fucking Soldier Boy, dude. That man's a menace.
All I want to say is that my friend, we walked into Suragaya, which is a famous retro chain in Japan, and there's one in Kyoto, and we saw a huge box of like the Haruhi Suzumiya. If you've ever watched the anime, The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, an incredible anime from like 2008.
The beginning of the end.
A box of like this game that had like 4 figurines in it, like the perviest, weebiest figurines you had. But it was 800 yen, $8. And then we were like, we have to buy it. But then we were like, but we don't have a Wii to play it on. So we looked and there was a Wii. We found a working Wii with cables and everything for $5. $5 for a Wii. For a Wii. The Wii is like easily one of the best consoles of all time. I will die on that hill. That console's fucking amazing. $5. We bought that and this 800 yen. So for $13. We got this.
That's the optimal strat. Don't buy new consoles. Don't buy your
I
PlayStation
swear to God,
5
if you're going to say
now.
wait 15 years.
Wait 15 years to buy your PlayStation 5 when it's on
3
sale for
generations old.
$5.
Oh boy, here we go.
Save your $700 for buying a PS5 and buy a Wii and Haruhi Suzumiya. 2 Haruhi Suzumiya games, actually. When we had no idea what they were, we thought they were visual novels, and we were playing it. We had no idea they were dancing games. We were playing it expecting a Japanese visual novel. Of course, it's only in Japanese. And we're playing through it, and then all of a sudden, it asks us to dance. And it's like a Just Dance version of Haruhi Suzumiya to the songs from the show. And we were so blown away and surprised. It was terrible, but my God, I was in stitches laughing for hours trying to dance to this game. It was so funny. At this point, it's like, go searching for trash for $5, play the most random ass Japanese game that you can see, and just find out what happens. It's, oh my God, I cannot highly recommend it more than just going into a retro store, finding a game that looks garbage for so cheap, and then playing it and being like, I wonder what's going to happen, and then going through it. Because we had an absolute blast for like 6 hours on Saturday. It was great. Oh. And the figurines were so pervy. It was terrible.
Oh God, I almost want to ask. Fine, Liam. What made the figures pervy?
They were upskirt available.
Oh,
yeah.
those.
Yeah, those. I mean,
the ones you see at those conventions that we used to go to, George.
We used to.
Corona killed hentai.
The ones where they never show you pictures of what's up the skirt on the box, so you have to buy the figure to find out for yourself.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like this was like straight up like, you know what you're getting. You know what you're getting.
Like what? Oh, so you knew what you were getting. They had the pictures on the box.
But one of them has Haruhi Suzumiya dressed as a pirate, and that was kind of irresistible.
That doesn't sound so bad as.
Wait, do you have like some type of hentai collection behind you or
No,
something?
no. I didn't buy it technically.
He's
it
just
was
like,
my,
yeah,
it was
I
my
do.
program. Look, so
yeah.
Wait. For entirely, I don't want to defend myself here. I want to defend Haruhi Suzumiya because Haruhi Suzumiya is definitely not the kind of pervy show, right? Of course, you can make anything pervy if it's anime because it's anime. Right? So Haruhi Suzumiya is an incredibly smart and funny show that doesn't really lead into those tropes, usually. Apart from Mikuru, who's a character that is bullied constantly by Haruhi Suzumiya, and then made to wear maid outfits. But for a job, which in Japan is not exactly far from the truth, because that happens fairly frequently in reality.
Oh, I remember. The most awkward hours of every Japanese trip.
Kind of just ignore it now.
Just going to the maid cafes.
It is weird.
Oh, maid cafes?
I mean, we did it once. I don't know if I want to do it a second time, but I don't exactly regret
Is that
doing
normal?
it once.
Is maid cafes?
Maid cafes are not normal. No one goes to freaking tourists.
They're a tourist trap.
Oh, okay. I was about to say. I thought that's what you said. I was like, oh. Okay.
Japanese men go to snack bars, which are like maid cafes, but way more sleazy and seedy than you imagine.
Wait, is that the hostess bar?
Wait, is it the bunny bar?
No. So like, all right. So I don't know why the dichotomy of like Japanese bar culture is coming up here, but maid cafes are like the tourist version of what essentially is in reality not hostess bars, because hostess bars are really expensive, but snack bars, which are essentially like bars that you sit at and you are there to talk, and the women who work behind the bar are there to talk to you. And it's a lot cheaper, sometimes sleazy, sometimes seedy.
That sounds exactly like a hostess bar.
Yeah, but hostess bars very specifically, I think people get it wrong, but hostess bars are like rich. They're like clubs. They're for like the socialites. They're for like people with money, like businessmen with money. Snack bars are like your normal average Joe is able to afford, even though they charge like $10 for a pack of nuts kind of place.
To pay a girl to flatter them for an hour?
Yeah, but in Japan that's easy because the entire culture is about flattering other people.
They're so polite.
Yes, exactly. I don't know how we got from retro game stores to this.
Yeah, I mean, I was about to ask if the experience might be similar at all to someone completely avoiding Skyrim for the 10-year gap between Elder Scrolls games these days, to eventually wait all the way to 2021 to play the upcoming 10th anniversary edition remake of Skyrim. Which is apparently happening. The game's coming to next-gen platforms in November, 10 years after the 2011 original. They are going to put the special edition enhancements on it, not being too clear if they're going to be upgrading the graphics for a heavy next-gen overhaul pass. But yeah, Skyrim's getting re-released yet again. Quake from 1997 is getting re-released.
Out today.
I guess that's all the little small stuff that's less important than Soulja Boy thinking he owned Atari for a day.
Fucking Soulja Boy.
What happened here? What happened to this guy? Didn't he obviously has some want to work in the games industry for whatever reason.
Yeah, you guys might remember a couple years ago we were talking about the Soulja Boy console lineup of Soulja game systems, in which he basically resold modded PS Vitas and a Chinese knockoff of a Xbox that evidently didn't actually play Xbox games, and stamped his name and branding on them, sold the Vitas without permission. Apparently had some real partnership with the Chinese knockoff manufacturers, but I don't think we ever heard anything about any like negative consequences facing him for the Vita reselling.
He was basically selling just those like handhold emulators. That's what
they're gone now. You can't buy them anymore.
Yeah.
But for like a week 2 years ago you could have. But from his point of view, he ended up striking what we're going to assume is a marketing promotional deal with Atari. But he ended up releasing an Instagram statement saying that Atari was real proud of what he did with the Soulja game console lineup, and that they were offering him a $140 million deal to buy the Soulja game company to give him a majority stake of Atari, thus making him owner, and also he said CEO. I don't know if that's how it works, but but that happened on August 20th. He did say the direct quote, "I'm the owner. I just signed 2 deals with Atari. I'm the first rapper to ever own a video game company." Later that day, Atari posts a tweet saying, "We know that the CEO of Atari is a dream job, but that owner belongs to Wade Rosen." And 2 days later, Soulja Boy gets really, really mad about this and posts this angry, profane rant with a bunch of N-words I can't say, about how he just wants to fuck Atari. Don't call me no more. Don't attach my name to you guys. Don't send me 2 contracts.
Damn.
He posted pictures of the contract that he did sign, in which it was then revealed that they were actually paying him in 140 million Atari tokens.
Oh, the crypto.
Which is a proprietary cryptocurrency that Atari is trying to develop to use as some kind of standardized backend for game microtransactions. Atari Token is a decentralized cryptocurrency that was created to become the token of reference for the interactive entertainment industry. Our goal is to have the Atari Token used as widely as possible across the interactive entertainment industry, allowing developers and publishers new options for exploitation of their products, integration of smart contracts, protection of in-game assets, and so much more. And if you go to the liquidity page to see how easily Soulja Boy can turn his payments of Atari tokens into real money, it says, "We intend to list the Atari token on as many exchanges as possible, allowing token holders to easily make exchanges for other currencies." And according to Soulja Boy, he's already gotten paid for it. As angry as he is about, I wonder what his side of the contract was, because you would assume he'd be doing promotional work and thus not talking about how angry he is with Atari. But he did say he got paid regardless. So,
Matt, as our resident expert here, how much do you think 140 million Atari tokens is worth?
I've never heard of fucking Atari tokens. What the fuck? We see market cap. It is... All right, so it's worth 0.05 cents.
Oh.
Yeah, they're not...
Wait, 140 million of that is going to add up, right?
Yeah. It's still a lot of money. It's still a lot of money.
But he doesn't own the company.
Yeah, it's still low. It's stagnated. Dang, they gave him a huge percentage of the fucking cap. Holy shit.
That's why he thought he was a majority shareholder of the company itself.
Oh.
I don't know. There might be an accountant or someone misleading him, or he might not be good at reading contracts.
No, he may not be good. He's not. Dude, like, listen, like, I grew up listening to the guy's music and seeing him on social media and shit. Like, he's not
smart.
He's too much of a
Soldier boy, tell him ho.
Yeah, he's still in that mentality, man. He needs to grow up, bro. Like, there's so many rappers that, yeah, they have this, like, you see them as like, oh, they're spitting gangster music. They're probably gangsters. Nah, they're intellectual beings. They have regular conversations, just like me and you. This guy, no. This guy is full on he's brainwashed, man. He had like a hit way back then.
I'm not gonna read the direct quotes from his Instagram post.
Yeah, that's ignorance right there, man. That's ignorance. He's fucking up. He's fucking up bad.
Well, he's selling soap and watches, and those apparently are legit. He's not bootlegging soap and watches. Apparently, whoever's managing his money got him set up with those stores okay, but not with this one. Or at least he genuinely actually was under the impression that they had sold him Atari for the Soulja Boy brand.
Yeah.
The Soulja Game brand.
The best press he's ever gotten is him playing Among Us like a few months ago, and that's pretty much it. Everything else has been kind of him fuck it up.
Although I guess you do bring up a point that it is still press. I would have forgotten about him were it not for this stuff.
True, so would have I.
I mean, if he wants to do a more legit, better business, you can weirdly spin this kind of negative press into promotion for that. I also wanted to talk about the strained relationship over the past year between sports games brands and sports developers. The brands in question are WWE doing their sports games with 2K Studios, who typically work with a developer called Ukes to make these games out. But in the past, for last year's one, they were working with a company called Visual Concepts. And the game ended up getting very poor reception. It was COVID year, so I'm guessing production was kind of a clusterfuck. And then what ended up happening in the sports world is that a whole bunch of wrestlers started getting removed from the lineup. The term is releases. And the roster had changed significantly over the course of this year, while the game developers are simultaneously trying to develop a game for this year's roster. As a result, the developers are talking to journalists on sportsgamersonline.com and saying that they've been fighting really hard to get this thing delayed, that they believe in the project, that they think they can make a great wrestling game if they get 5 more months to work on it. They delayed it from November to March. And the reason they are citing why is because the real life WWE is changing the roster so much to the point where they would have ended up releasing a game with the most outdated roster for any sports game of all time.
Damn.
And yeah, I as you know, weird and minor and small of a topic as this is, I think this brings up a lot of really important questions about how the game industry works, particularly with how sports games work and how they have to release every single year something that is like colloquially referred to in the community as roster updates. We were talking last week about how traditional sports games never fascinated us. They don't really latch into the hardcore gamer community, but they are absolutely a pillar of the economy of it. They are the top sellers. They are what normies play. And what this story does is point out tension between how these two different businesses work and how hard it is going to be, especially in after coronavirus, with real life emergencies screwing up how the real life sports works for how the video game version works, and what sort of consequences those difficulties carry. Like, how much leverage do the sports brands have over the game industry? what kind of effects on the industry it would have if lineups and series of long-running legacy sports games end up going away because of tension between the two companies, or if maybe that tension could be used for good things. I was fascinated here. I'm wondering if you guys feel any of that, or if it all just looks like boring business news to you.
I think annual franchises have a problem in general anyway, and this was always eventually going to happen to somebody. I'm glad some series, like the F1 series and stuff like that, are now realizing that it's more valuable to be taking the time to make better games than it is to be pumping out annual franchises every year that have minimal to no additional changes whatsoever.
Yeah.
I have to give props actually to EA for Madden and FIFA. I don't know so much about Madden, but with FIFA, they make significant updates every year now to like improved gameplay systems. It's not just the typical joke of, oh, the roster changes or the kit changes or whatever, right? Which is, of course, an exciting part if you are a soccer fan, but not necessarily if you enjoy the game. But they are making huge gameplay adjustments and always animation updates and stuff like that, right? But I do think you can't, unless you're going to make significant updates in this day and age, people expect more. People aren't just going to give out their bomb doll. And I saw the WWE trailer that released literally yesterday, and it was all about the next gen and all about that because they had the time to work on these things. So I'm hoping that more companies see the value in waiting, not having these continual annual franchises. WWE is not a seasonal based thing. It doesn't change every year like soccer season does, or the F1 season, or Madden season, right? It's an ongoing storyline between different wrestlers. Why does it have to have an annual game? Why can't it? Well, apart money, of course.
I was about to ask the question of how hasn't this part of the industry adopted to more of like a yearly big expansion instead of a yearly sequel? And yeah, the reason why is probably money.
Oh, you can charge way more for a new release than you can.
I guess I'm just surprised we're not hearing more insider stories of people pushing for that kind of model for the yearly sports games franchises. But it makes absolute sense why they don't do it.
Well, with Madden and FIFA, you've got to remember that the majority of that fan base only play that game, right? So if you think if they're people who only play that game and maybe a few others, for them, they play that every day. Over 365 days, that's a lot, right? And for them, whatever comes is new and fresh, right? They don't get the same feeling we do of playing new games all the time. So for them, an annual franchise is a long time, right? I don't know about that with WWE fans. I imagine wrestling fans is a large overlap with gamers in general. So I'm not really sure how hardcore or so that is. But
we've had guests go on wrestling rants a lot on this very show.
Yeah, exactly, right?
I've had so many people try to get me into it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think annual franchises do two things. One, of course, it stagnates progress for those game franchises. It really does, because what can you do in 10 months? You spend the first 2 months supporting the game, right? And then you're into development. Of course, at EA, you've got massive teams, right? So they overlap. What can you do in that time that is significant enough to make a difference for the end user to be like a revolutionary experience? And secondly, you stagnate every segment of the year for releases in November all the fucking time. The industry is stagnated with the same titles every year.
WWE wanted the game in November. The developers wanted to delay to March, and they did specify it. It was something like the survival elimination season, and that's November. That's when they want the games to come out.
Yeah, so that stagnates. It was even worse. It was definitely way worse during the 360 and PS3, when it would be an Assassin's Creed, a Call of Duty, a FIFA, a Madden, like the same franchises every year in the same period of time, and no one could release any games around that time. It meant that you were playing the same games every year during that period. It was a very tough time for the industry to deal with that kind of stagnation.
One of the reminders that we're in a more normal year than last year is that Far Cry 6 is coming out in a few weeks, and besides that initial announcement trailer, I've seen no one in our community really care.
All right, digging in. It's time for the mailbag.
Yeah, I hear you rustling. the papers, the letters.
You should do that every week.
Here we go.
That was great.
Here we go, Jordan. I stopped doing sound effects way back, didn't I?
Well, not as of 30 seconds ago.
That was great.
Yeah. We'll do some listener questions.
Wait, George, before we do, we have a Scottish update.
Oh, you want to...
Whatever bagpipes sound like.
Alex from Scotland, and how someone recognized his Dad and Sons t-shirt.
He did. He says, "Hey, dads, this is a Scottish update. We need more every week, Alex. Hey, dads and sons and dog."
Oh, wow.
There we go. Liam should already know where Aberdeen in Scotland is. I do know where Aberdeen is. Well, it's just out. He lives just outside of Aberdeen, and he randomly passed on the streets this other user who knew what the Dad and Sons is. Sadly, they did not get married.
Oh, I was thinking anyone who likes Dad and Sons is just instantly compatible with anyone else who likes Dad and Sons.
That could be true, actually.
Yeah, maybe.
What do you mean could be?
Could
MIT
be
did a study. The science has been proven, my friend. Every fan of Dad and Sons is the soulmate of every other fan of Dad and Sons.
It is possible, Alex, that you walked past your soulmate and you just don't know it yet.
You'll never have that opportunity again until you try again.
Yeah.
He says, "Keep up the very okay podcast. Number one of the 2 Scottish fans." Alex, he's claiming to be the number one.
Infighting in the community.
Technically, Alex is, because he was the one wearing the shirt.
You hate to see the spouses fight. But,
see
even the strongest couples sometimes have their difficulties to work through.
If you are the other person,
get in touch.
And
buy a shirt.
Let's make this happen.
Let's make this happen.
Tell us about your relationship with Alex and what we can do to improve it.
Look, I'm up for us having a Scotland panel live show for just these two.
Yeah. Oh my God. We should just have it at a bar.
It'll be the only podcast panel where the number of hosts outnumber the audience.
Oh man, can you imagine? I can imagine when we finally do a panel. We're gonna at least do one panel in our life,
of course,
right? Before we end this podcast. And
before we end,
you mean before the man kills it for being too radical?
Yes.
Oh wait, George, if we don't sign up for that child soon enough, it'll be you and not the replacement who is able to keep us going.
Yeah.
The spirit replacement.
I hope they pay me in something more valuable than Atari tokens.
I think it's going to be interesting to see how many people are in that room. Can you imagine? We're just waiting, and then we come out, and we just see like one person.
So we have two options. I think it's very obvious. We have 2 options. One is we do it somewhere in Central Europe, because Europe is small, so people can travel. And predominantly, we have quite a large following in Europe. You guys are great. And our Scottish friends can come. It's a shame, because Scotland's an amazing country, so we should also go to Scotland. Or, of course, we go to Saudi Arabia, because we are the 7th.
Wow.
But we shouldn't, because that would be supporting the state of Saudi Arabia. And we know George won't let me go to North Korea, therefore we can't go to Saudi Arabia.
Man, if you buy a metal slug game nowadays, you're supporting Saudi Arabia. There's so much you gotta pay attention to these days.
I do want to play that game.
It's too much. It's way too much, dude.
And we are just human beings.
I'll send you some magnet links through through Tor.
There's a new not magnet game. There's a new Metal Slug game.
Yeah.
That's the time.
The Tactics one. The one that looks fucking awesome. The one that looks great.
It was funded. They got their investment from the Saudi government, like 30% of it or something.
They look beautiful.
So I wasn't able to I'm not going to be able to play the Metal Slug game. I'm not going to be able to. I didn't play the open beta for fucking Diablo 2 because I'm staying true to my word. What else? What else?
Fair
Ubisoft games. But I mean, we don't really play those anyway.
Well, I play both of those. I grew up with Metal Slug, man. I never beat it though, which is sad.
What? They're like 30-minute long arcade games. Like you spend 12 quarters in the games.
12?
over
They're
in
not
your
exactly
lunch. They were
easy.
quarter munchers.
They're not
they were
easy,
absolute
bro.
quarter munchers.
Sometimes you put a quarter in, you die instantly. Like
12 was a lot
instantly.
for me, okay?
12 quarters was a lot.
12 quarters would weigh your pockets down. Like, that would make walking hard. 12 quarters.
I remember back in the day, $5 was like, oh my God, $5 in quarters. Whew.
Yeah, that one would really
That's
piss
lunch
your
money.
parents off.
That's going to the spill out to get some slice of pizza and a quarter soda.
You adjust for inflation, and that's like a surgery money.
Oh my God. Everything for the surgery.
Please
buddy.
fund us for a panel in Europe.
When I am lying on my deathbed, dying of whatever health problem could have been prevented with more surgery money, I'm going to think back on how my mom was right not to let me try to play Metal Slug with 12 quarters in my pockets. And how I could have saved those 12 quarters for surgery later.
I think you did. You became a cheapskate in the future and barely ever bought video games.
I'm okay with that. Let's actually answer a listener question.
Yes. So Scotland aside, Herringbone.
Herringbone. Dear
Dear
Dad
Dad
and
and
Sons.
Sons. Wow, look at that echo.
Do you want to try? Do you want to try to sync up and make like a creepy...
Let's give it a... Yeah.
Oh God.
3.
Oh God.
Okay,
Ugh.
we're going to start with the word we, okay, Liam?
Let's make this interesting. Yeah, okay.
Wait, do you want to do a trio with Matt?
Oh, yeah, Matt, you can be
Yeah.
the bass. Matt, be the bass. I'm
All the
obviously
dads
high.
and sons will read the
Alright.
question at the same time on 3, 2, 1, go, okay?
It's like our sync.
Yeah, and we're going to begin on 3, on we.
On we. So
On
3,
we.
2, 1, we. Okay.
3, 2, 1. We
We
have
have
had
city
city builders, hospital builders, prison builders, and theme park builders. What is a builder game that you would like to see and why? Thanks for asking, Herringbone.
No, it's not.
I
that
think we
bad.
smashed it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Discord
as-
lag aside.
As someone who got the privilege to look at it early, I think I can start us off by suggesting that someone finally have the guts to go and do it and make Public School Tycoon to where you have to play as
No, don't
whoever
say it.
or whatever god manages the schools.
They're making it.
Hell yeah, about fucking time.
Wait. Okay.
What was it? It was announced recently. The guys who made Theme Point Hospital, the new one by Sega, they're making a school one. They're making a school.
Guys, do you think? Okay. A serious question.
Yeah.
Will they have a school shooter in this?
Oh no. Oh no.
There's a
George,
lot
you-
of reasons why I don't think this has been done. And I feel like fear of the kids committing violence is one. You know, it's already like edgy enough that they built a prison builder, but I feel like if someone builds a school builder, there's a hell of a lot of uncomfortable questions that are going to come up.
I know bullying has to be there, right?
Or if it's a high school, if the kids are like teenagers, are they going to sneak off to the bathroom to like smoke and bang and stuff? Like, you know, the nasty adult things that teenagers do. Like,
Yeah.
are they going to form gangs and have rumbles in the parking lot? Are there going to be bomb threats?
So 2 Point Campus, as it's called, the
campus.
school building system, is made by 2 Point Studios, which are a British studio. So I can think it safely say there will be no school shooting in this version.
It's also called campus, so that makes me think that maybe it's like a college or a
College.
university, and that's not what I was picturing.
Yeah.
Like a game.
That would be way better. Yeah, to be honest.
I mean, taste-wise, but I think that, like, on the more positive note, if you got a kid to play a game where they build a school and manage a school and have to, like, make hard decisions about how to allocate the budget and how to placate nosy parents and how to set up the problematic kids to succeed. Like, if they could put themselves in that role, it would be a very powerful teaching moment for kids that would, like, really clue them in to where they are in the world at that moment and what kind of institution they're in. And also what the potential for interactive entertainment as art could be in the first place. Like, I feel like a kid who grows up playing a school builder might not grow up to be a games aren't art type of pseudo neo-Nazi character.
Games. Is that still a conversation?
I'm sure it is somewhere out there. I mean, I know that you want to believe those days are over, but I swear on my Twitter feed, I can open up a tab and see the same garbage from half a decade ago still happening.
It's the same way. Sometimes I talk to these white guys and they think racism has been over for years.
After the past year we've had?
Yes.
Okay.
It says it all depends on your environment, I think. It all depends on your environment.
100%. I imagine America more than anything, right? Because you're more segregated.
And yeah, that would be one of the uncomfortable questions if you were to make this game. Like, because I mean, in real life, you hate to see it. I hated to see it, but there absolutely was like a black kid lunch table in the cafeteria that...
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like enforced by the teachers or anything, but the kids were still segregating.
They automatically just feel safer, or there's like little things that happen. Little things that kids pick up on from their parents that the parents might even know, benefit of the doubt, that they bring to school. It's just kind of the way it is. It's crazy how ingrained it is. I don't want to go on this subject, but it's crazy how ingrained it is in a lot of things.
It's creepy and it's terrifying in a video game presenting those problems in a systemic way that like deconstructs all of those issues down to currencies the players trading and managing. I feel could be a really powerful work of fucking art.
I don't know if they would go that route though.
It would take balls. It would take balls. I would love to see someone try.
You just see mostly white males making this stuff.
Yeah.
It's the same thing where I talk about NFTs, right? Like I'm heavy into that the past 3 months.
Yeah.
It's just mostly white males. It's mostly white males always into mostly everything from the beginning. That's just kind of how it is. That's just the reality of it. So like they can't really dip in their toe into something like serious, like something that's actually, gonna make a statement, because yes, there are not just black people, but Indian and Asian and all these other people out there, and all of that plays into school, and I don't know if they have the knowledge, the experience, to do that. Not to prejudge them. I don't know their team. I don't know how they look like. So
it would take a lot of research and consultation. But yes. Oh man, what a powerful message it could send if after your campaign you get an epilogue screen that tells you how the kids in your school grew up to be and how much of an impact you had on their future 20 years later in life. How devastating it would be to see if you trying to make all the right decisions and save the money and placate the nosy parents ends up negatively impacting them. Or how inspiring it might be to see that something you did helped a crappy school full of kids who otherwise would have grown up to be crappy adults if you managed to like actually turn them around and give them some skills and inspiration. I feel like a lot of really good emotions and really scary life lessons and important life lessons could be taught through a game like that would deconstruct a lot of mysteries about how society works and how money gets spent on people and how kids turn out to be certain kinds of adults. I'm shivering thinking about how many places it could go.
It's like you want the game to be made by like a black Jonathan Blow or something.
Black Maxis. Willem Wright. I haven't heard
that guy in a while. Jonathan Blow, where is he at?
Making his own game engine.
SimCity definitely looks at urban planning from a idealistic, kid-friendly, libertarian, capitalism actually works if you work hard enough, kids, perspective, but it still was a really important learning experience in my life as a child. I had no clue, like, where I was, why my neighborhood was all houses instead of businesses, like why there wasn't a convenience store directly across the street from the house. I didn't know about zoning laws. I didn't know how power plants and power lines worked until I played SimCity as a kid. And like Banished is also a really good like economics teacher, like teaching you how the food can come from a field, go into a warehouse, get distributed to people, and people can still starve to death even though there's enough food if the chain of distribution is not set up correctly. Like this is a genre of game that can blow the mystique of abstract social forces wide open in beneficial ways. Yeah, doing a global warming in Civ. Like having to decide if you want to build a flood wall or or just raise the city and settle inland instead.
Yeah, it is weird how you can learn, stuff from this. So the school one is interesting as well, considering the certain. I mean, it's weird, isn't it? Because it's the realities that American school children face. So why would that not be something? Obviously, from a business standpoint, that would never happen because you wouldn't be able to get an age rating for your game any less than 18, and it's a city builder. Therefore, that would make things difficult. But,
they somehow managed to make The Sims with a T rating, no less. And that game really is creepy when you think about it.
Yeah, that's comedic violence, though. There's nothing comedic violent about that other thing. In terms of other interesting things, I think with city builders, I mean, Game Dev Story is great as a mini, not a city builder, but, studio builder for making games and stuff. Theme Park World was always good. You've got the Zoo Tycoon games were always good. What are the types of like amusement could you make?
Well, there's a lot of business simulators out there that are, always way simplistic and sugar-coated from the real thing.
Running your own Japanese real estate company. Having to give kickbacks to the Yakuza for land.
Scary life lessons to teach the kids, too.
You're not allowed to plow through this shrine because it has Buddhist significance.
Oh, man. If a game of SimCity took place in Greece or Rome, and you had to, stop your subway building every time they hit some ancient ruins, and then spend 2 extra years, calling the museum back and forth to figure out who has rights to the land and whether... I don't know. Why am I getting exciting thinking of Roman subway builder? All right, Jonathan Umir has one for Liam. Liam, I believe enough time has passed. What is the video game equivalent of It's Coming Home?
I have no idea how many people will get that reference.
I have to look it up.
Did you look up the correct thing?
Maybe. I'm going down the list now. I think it's the first time in my life I've heard of this. Oh, it's about football. I mean football. Soccer. European football.
It's about football. It's specifically about England and football. Very specifically. It is a song from 1996, 96.
Yeah.
For the Euro 96 by Battle and Skinner. It's called 3 Lions. And it's a very famous song in the UK. It's about England being terrible at football, having one moment of glory, and how we wish we could reclaim that. And every time we go to a tournament, it's always like, is it coming home? Because obviously, England is the presumed home of football because that's where the sport was invented. And England are obviously a very big player in the soccer world because of the Premier League. It's coming home as this motto of is it finally coming home? And in the summer, there was the Euro 2020 tournament and England got to the final and we were beat by Italy. And and what people don't realize, I think, is that the whole of England stops for football, whether you like it or you don't. It stops.
Was there a moment of mourning, national mourning?
Pretty much. I mean,
Flags
actually,
no.
It was just a whole bunch of shitty people being shitty.
Whoa, that sounds like loaded euphemism for riots and crime.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oof.
But It's Coming Home is a line from the song. So it's coming home, it's coming, football's coming home. If I was to do it in a louty voice. The idea of, I think, a video game equivalent of It's Coming Home is maybe a video game announcement every year you expect to be announced. And you're waiting in anticipation and excitement that maybe at E3 or Gamescom or Tokyo Game Show, that game will be announced. It's coming. It's finally coming. It's coming home. We had it. Back in the 90s, it was so great. And we're gonna do it this time, boys. We're gonna fucking do it, right?
Yeah. No, there's one happening right now, actually.
What?
The Silent Hills anticipation and Blue Point and Abandonment and having nothing to do with Silent Hills.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah.
There's this vocal minority of fans who swear up and down that it's coming.
I would say Elden Ring was the other one earlier this year until the trailer. And then in recent history, I think it's The Last Guardian and the Final Fantasy VII Remake. They're the two.
And back in the good old days, before the world went to hell, it was Duke Nukem Forever. Before Duke Nukem Forever finally came out and wasn't that great.
Yeah. Starfield, maybe the next Elder Scrolls, possibly. I can't really think of anything else. But yeah, definitely The Last Guardian and the Final Fantasy VII Remake, that one E3, where they both were announced in the same E3, alongside Shenmue 3. Those are the types of announcements and games I think it's coming home, right? This is the year. This is our year, boys. We're going to win this year.
Man, I will say out loud that I am kind of feeling that with Elder Scrolls 6. I know why it's taking 10 years. I know I got chewed out for bitching
for not
about
understanding game development.
But that teaser came out in 2018. We know it's in some sort of being worked on state this whole time, and that was already 4 years ago. And as much as it is fun to pick on them for being shallow games for normies, I'm still a big fan of the series. It got me into history and modding to an extent, and walking simulators, and the bike trip I went on. So like, I'm anticipating seeing a real thing for that, and it's been a while. And they used to come out not like clockwork, but they used to come out every 4 to 6 years fairly reliably.
So there you go. I think that's what the it's coming home equivalent is. But as always, we will suffer through the disappointment and revel in that glory.
I, for one, am not going to be looking forward to another Metal Gear. It's time to move on. Any fans who like are constantly anticipating Metal Gear 6, I think, are off their horses. Fans who are anticipating a Metal Gear Solid 1 remake by Blue Point, I think, might be a little more reliable in their betting. But man, the Silent Hills MGS6 stuff, that just strikes me as such blatant fanboyism that I thought we would have moved past by now in video game fan circles. Matt, is there anything you're perpetually looking forward to that may never come out?
Hunter x Hunter.
Were they making a game out of that?
1,000 days. 1,000 days of no chapter.
Dude, it's never going to come out.
Or did they stop the anime? I thought it was fairly popular.
They stopped the anime. It's the manga.
Yeah, it was extremely popular. Yeah.
What happened?
He's very sick. He has persistent backache, and he's had like 10 surgeries on his back.
Is that the reason? Or he's just tired? Yeah. He's just tired.
A bit of both. I think, he wants to make Hunter x Hunter. He said,
Does
there's
he?
So much there.
Does he? Though?
But I can't help but think there's a little bit of like sadness to this world of Japanese mangas and animes that go on for like 30, 40 years up until the guy who made it dies.
Yeah, so he's looking that way.
It might be kind of a really modern American way of looking at it. Because thinking back in history, like I believe the Don Quixote novels kept getting made until the original author died. Geoffrey Chaucer, I don't think ever finished Canterbury Tales until after his death. Like hundreds of years ago in Western history, stuff like that was going on. Maybe I shouldn't be talking anymore and I should move on to the next one. Chemo Force says, help! There are people on my Twitter feed saying the gun sounds in Halo Infinite are bad because they're not like the ones in Modern Warfare 2009. I think instead of going for loud, realistic gun sounds, a gun sound effect should telegraph its role in the game. Like how pistols go pew-pew, assault rifles go pew-pew, but really fast, and shotguns go kablamo, with differences between each gun of the same time to better emphasize what they're about. What are your thoughts on this matter? What are some games with gun sounds you really like, and why?
Halo weapons are not real, therefore why the fuck would they sound like real guns? If you want real guns, play a game with real guns. Halo's a sci-fi game. It has needle launchers. Why would you care? If it sounds good, and Chemo has a great point, they should sound like they have distinct personalities.
Yes.
Why would you care?
That is why you would care, so that you know what kind of bad guy you're going up against when you approach them from a distance. As Hunt Showdown demonstrates beautifully.
Oh boy.
Every gunshot in Hunt Showdown sounds distinct. You can hear it across the whole map. How long it takes to echo will clue you into how far of a distance they are, and how muffled it sounds clues you into how much scenery is around the gunshot. And that game is absolutely a showcase of what sort of tactical advantages a player can gain from having distinct noises for every distinct gun, and how and where it's fired in.
But why don't the guns in Hunt Showdown sound like assault rifles from Modern Warfare games, George? Tell me.
Well, maybe what we're really finding out is that Modern Warfare doesn't bother with all that stuff and might actually have some stuff to glean from it. And I feel like the science fiction ones, like Advanced Warfare, as opposed to Modern Warfare, what was it, Infinite Warfare, actually did that thing where every gun sounds very different from each other. And I think those were the ones that were kind of sort of better reviewed up until the Modern Warfare 2009 Warzone reboot stuff was happening. The Call of Duty series was in a lull for a while after those more science fiction fantastical games had more distinct gun sound effects. But man, oh man, that's really important to have in a shooter, though, in general, is good gun sound effects. Remember the first Halo Infinite trailer and how iffy it looked, and how I thought it looked fine up until I heard the gun sound effects, and then I was like, oh yeah, I see what the gamers are complaining about now.
But Halo has its own distinct sounds anyway, right? So why would you want to change that? Like, there's sci-fi weapons that have like, they sound more like laser weapons, right? Yes, the BR and whatever sounds like a sniper rifle or whatever.
And it'll still sound distinct.
Yes.
Like even the gunpowder weapons will definitely sound different from each other.
Why would you want them to sound like generic freaking guns from another game?
I hate it if I am playing a shooter and all the guns sound the same as one another. One of the big problems I have with the Call of Duty franchise is that the older games had really bad gun sound effects where it sounded like an automatic gunfire was just like crinkling paper in the microphone. Like this is what a shocking battlefield sounded like in the first 3 Call of Duty games. There's just paper crinkling in the background. They didn't sound threatening.
Yeah.
Sound is important. It is
very important. Yeah. I enjoyed Battlefield.
Yeah, Battlefield sound design is fucking fantastic too.
Yeah, Bad Company, all that. Like,
yeah,
you're inside of a hall, and you hear gunshots, like the way it echoes through the hallways.
Dude, you hear the clinks of the shells hitting the floor from the other side of the hall.
It's really good. It's really good. I wish every game was up to par of that. I wish, but no game does. Like, every game is just like, sound design, it sounds good enough. It's fine. You know?
I am of the opinion that Call of Duty sound design is not where they're putting the budget, but it sounds like Call of Duty has enough fans to create a Twitter feed saying that it's the other way around. When really what you're witnessing is the false impression of a consensus that the proportions of internet size versus internet communications creates. Very, very small amounts of people are saying this, Chemo Force. They're just a large portion of your feed.
Yeah.
But man, good gunshot sound design is just like, as much as I'm like tired of typical legacy genres, as much as I'm like tired of video game violence being the primary means of interaction, like if they nail the sound design, it feels good in a way that the physiology of my brain agrees with. I can't discount good kinesthetics even when it's used 99% of the time to shoot someone in the face and not much else. What about good melee noises? What games? I can think of like Condemned Criminal Origins. I can't really...
Sekiro.
You think Sekiro had that going on?
Ghost of Tsushima. Games that, are focused entirely on their melee combat for the most part.
Well, come to think of it, From Software does. Bloodborne, I thought, had incredible sound design. How many wet, slimy noises?
You can hear with me just saying the words Dark Souls armor roll. You can hear the sound of that in your ear.
Like a jingling coin purse.
Like the slow plodding.
And the fat roll.
Yeah, yeah. You can hear it.
Yes.
Like, yeah. Sound is important, right? But it's distinctive. And I think that's really important. Not every game has to sound the same.
It lets you know you hit the button correctly. Speaking of good sound design, you have just finished listening to what I'm sure is
an audible feast.
The highest quality of okay podcast quality.
An okay audible feast.
We try though, don't we? Thanks for listening through
Thanks
this
for
point.
staying with us.
Yeah. We'll be doing a hangout next Monday on the 30th. That will actually be happening after the episode comes out, so it won't be obsolete to say as a reminder right now. Yeah, we're going to be doing a AMA hangout for Patreon upper tier listeners on Monday, August 30th. What we usually do is try to come up with a list of questions people have asked before or topics they want us to talk about, and then maybe have a video game in the background. What ends up happening every time, though, is we just have conversations with the fans for hour and a half to 2 hours in that block. It's always a good, clean, wholesome, fun time.
Ask me about my Monday if you're there.
Wow.
Just ask me how it's going.
Yeah.
Just ask if I'm still standing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because technically, won't it be early Tuesday morning for you if it's Monday afternoon for us?
Is it Tuesday morning? Okay. Well, if you're there with me at that time, you'll be celebrating.
Oh, celebrating. I guess
you'll be celebrating for a very specific reason.
Big
shit.
news.
If all goes to plan.
News coming in hot Monday.
So pay attention. Drink your Ovaltine. Follow the Dad and Sons Twitter feed. Subscribe to the Patreon and
get those Ovaltine crackers because those are fucking good.
And join the Discord if you haven't. And we'll see you next week after the big news and the Patreon hangout, and the secrets will be revealed.
Yep.
Woo!